Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Awkward Academy. My name is Justin. I'm one of your hosts today. Beside me, the one and only White Buffalo, John Hooley.
Howdy.
TJ is not with us today. He's got other stuff to do. So it's just going to be the two of us and a special topic from Kayla the Cashier.
Indeed.
You want to take it away?
All right. First topic. You're going to love it. DC, or specifically Justice League versus the Avengers. Now, we all know who'd win, but how would it play out? Who would match up with who? Go.
Are we talking about, like, how expanded are we going here?
Let's go with, like, the core, you know? Like, we can leave Question out of the Justice League, and we can probably leave Scarlet Witch out of the Avengers. You know, just kind of keep it kind of core.
It's really hard to say, because Superman, comic book wise, is insanely powerful, but so is comic book Thor, and Thor has magic, which Superman's weak against.
And then Batman would pretty much have the pretty heavy advantage, or he would seek an advantage against every single member of the Marvel Universe. Yep. I guess against Thor, he'd probably just go tell his dad. Yeah,
the thing with Batman is when we talk about Justice League fighting the Avengers, is it like one fight, or is it an extended series of battles into like a war?
I'd say it's a war.
Because the more time Batman has, the deadlier he's gonna since he doesn't kill.
Yeah.
More dangerous, I should say, he'll become.
So let's say it's a war, all right? I mean, logistically speaking, you'll have Tony Stark, of course, bankrolling. Mm-hmm. Okay, and he is a super genius. Mm-hmm. And then on DC side, you'll have Batman strategizing, investigating. I mean, he'd
also supporting with it. He is a billionaire, just like Tony Stark.
Yeah,
but he's not a tech genius. He's more of a strategic genius.
And I think one of the big problems with Batman is he has all that money, but I feel like because it's in business accounts and stuff like that, he can't move it as easy because he has to keep a secret identity. Tony Stark tells the world he's Iron Man. I mean...
Well, there are different continuities, like Batman Incorporated. There's so many heroes, though, that come in and out of the groups in the comics.
Yeah, we get the Hulk would probably be able to handle most of the DC universe.
That's what I was thinking too. I'm trying to one-off, see who would match up with who.
Yeah.
And like the heavy hitters like Thor and Hulk could both go up against Superman. But at the same time, there's also Green Lantern, whose power is kind of really up and down depending on who's riding him. And Wonder Woman as well.
One major thing, though, you got to think like the absolute worst guy, I feel, in the Justice League, as far as like, what he's got going for him, the guy that has to do the most with the least would be Batman. And the equivalent of that in the Marvel Universe, like Hawkeye and Black Widow, Batman would wreck both of them at the same time.
I think so.
Like, Hawkeye would shoot an arrow and Batman would swipe it out of the air with ninja skills. I mean, it's just natural.
I was trained by assassins.
Or it'd be like, oh, you're deaf? Well, here's my jammer.
That, and if Batman had enough time to know who it was, I reckon he would try to find a way to stop Bruce Banner from being able to change.
Sedate him while he's Banner.
And he may be able to hack Jarvis the same way he hacked Cyborg. The very first day he met Cyborg in one of the continuities, as a failsafe measure, he infected him with a virus he could activate remotely. And he did. Locked him up.
Nice. Of course, I wonder if Cyborg would be able to go toe-to-toe with Tony Stark. I mean, both got blaster cannons on their hands, arms, things.
I'd say the difference is, I think Cyborg would probably be more powerful than one Iron Man suit. But how many has he got?
That and Tony's got like Hulkbuster style shit.
Yeah.
Call in orbital strikes.
And then there's Ant-Man, who, admittedly, he's kind of lame, but at the same time, Hank Pym is supposed to be... He's up there with Tony Stark and Reed Richards and Bruce Banner as like smartest men in the entire world. So there's a lot of geniuses in play on the Marvel side.
So Marvel's got the brains, and then DC's got...
You got powerhouses like Wonder Woman, Green Lantern, Superman, Batman strategizing all of it.
Superman would definitely be like the most powerful one in play there. Would be a major concern.
Cyborg could have a pretty good variety of things going on for him. Martian Manhunter could probably fuck shit up. He could probably just take Tony right out of his suit.
Yeah. That'd be wild. Unless, of course, Tony was rocking that whole like internal suit that he had that was inside his body.
Extremis.
Yeah.
It would also depend on when that's going on, because eventually he does get it taken out of him.
And then...
Of course, he could also take that arc reactor right out of his chest. But also depending on when it is in the comics, eventually he gets the shrapnel taken out, so he doesn't actually need it anymore. It's just kind of there as a backup power source in case the one in the suit fails.
Yeah, I think DC would probably win it. Just because, like, its heaviest hitter would be Superman. Which, I mean, is a pretty heavy hitter. And its genius is Batman, which is pretty damn genius.
Yeah, I mean, fight-wise, he'd go up against Captain America. But even in the comics, DC versus Marvel, it was fan-based, like fan voting, but Batman did beat Captain America one-on-one.
Which makes sense, because, like, I mean, they're both at peak human everything. The difference is...
Danielle.
Batman's richer, for one. So he's got way more resources. He's better trained.
Way better trained. Freaking assassins, Danielle.
And also he's, like, technically I guess they're both geniuses. But I think Batman's more practical genius.
Batman went and got several degrees, and like his psychological prowess and knowing like how they think and what they're going to do is, I think, a lot more thorough than just, this is how we should attack. This is how we should defend.
You could probably kill someone with words.
Maybe. I know Lex Luthor, Brainiac, claimed he was going to do that to Superman. And I think it was the Red Sun.
Tell me about that one.
Yeah, that was weird.
But, yeah, I guess in between the two, definitely DC, I think, has got a pretty strong advantage there. Marvel... Of course, if you start getting into a fight with a lot of the Marvel guys, you have to deal with a lot of the consequences of, like, gods, which play a whole lot into it. I mean, DC's got Ares, and Ares is a little bitch compared to a lot of the, like, Marvel gods.
Yeah, Wonder Woman's taking him down.
Yeah.
That, and there was a time when Silver Surfer joined the Avengers, and being a cosmic entity whose power comes from another greater cosmic entity, it's really hard to say how much he could do. Because even the comic book writers that write him really make him up and down. Like, sometimes he's going toe-to-toe with Galactus, and other times he's getting his ass whooped by the Fantastic Four.
Okay, at the point that you're getting your ass whooped by the Fantastic Four, you should probably lose all titles.
Yeah, you done goofed. I think basically, if it's a series of battles rather than one all-out war, I think DC having more heavy hitters, even if they're not heavier hitters, because Marvel does have the Hulk, plus Batman, I think they would just adapt quicker. I think they would strategize quicker. I think they would form quicker. And I think that they would probably fly Hulk out to space since they have more flyers, since, depending on the continuity, Thor can't or can fly.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the very least, Thor could toss a hammer hard enough into Hulk that just knocked him off the planet.
Well, yeah, but they're on the same team.
Oh, you're right. Okay.
But I mean, they like Superman or Green Lantern or Wonder Woman or Martian Manhunter. Like, they can all fly. Cyborg can too, but I don't think he'd be strong enough to contain the Hulk by any means. But all those other ones could get Hulk and just go toss him off in orbit somewhere, and then worry about the others. And like this, much like in the movies, I think Hulk is kind of the trump card. I think Thor could take him, but he'd be so preoccupied with these other godlike deities, basically.
Yeah.
I mean, him and Superman alone would probably fuck up Earth.
Yeah, Thor versus Superman, I think, would be the big collision there. Because, I mean, you figure Superman tracks at, like, faster than light speed, but Thor moves instantaneously. Like, he can be somewhere and then be somewhere else entirely.
Plus magic.
Which has been proven to hurt Superman.
And he's supposed to have, I'm trying to remember the name of it. He has some... It hasn't been shown in the movies. It's some magical god ability he has. I want to say it's similar to Ragnarok. But I can't remember. Whatever the case, even the lightning, you know, he doesn't just redirect it, he can create it. So it's like cosmic lightning. I think that would hurt Superman.
Yeah, when it goes into the field of magic, you get... Of course, then Superman's just like, oh, well, I see that you have all this power that's been bestowed upon you by Odin, and I'm Superman. I'm probably going to go, like, terrorize Valhalla or something.
Yeah, but he'd also have to find it, and then he'd leave the battlefield for a while. That and Thor may be able to teleport straight there.
You're right. He'd definitely beat him there.
And be like, yo, other immensely powerful gods. There's a Kryptonian on the way. That, and if Thor failed to take out Superman, who else in the Avengers could? Hulk is strong enough.
But he can't fly.
Indeed.
And... I was going to make a joke about Black Widow just being a hoe, but I can't find a way to word it. Something, Black Widow hoe.
Excellent. Yeah, I gotta go. I gotta go DC.
Gotta agree with
Justice
you.
League.
All right, what's your topic?
My topic is, now that Christmas is fast approaching, what is the best Christmas you've ever had and why?
Whew, all right. Man, I'm gonna sound like a basic bitch on this one, but
I love pumpkin fraps.
Best Christmas I ever had was... I don't remember how old I was. Younger than 10, I'm confident. Nintendo 64.
I feel you. I'm
my
feeling
God.
this. I remember getting mine.
Dude.
Not my favorite one, but it's up there.
I didn't even know, like, it was in the cards. Like, I knew my brother had one, and I was just like, that's nice. I guess the reality of the universe is just that I don't have one, and my brother has one.
He is older. Like,
yeah.
a billion years older.
So I'm just like, man, all right. You know, I'd play it whenever I could, but I couldn't always. And then one day I walked in on that Christmas morning, and the light was shining into the windows. Dust was like settled in like the living room, so you had the God rays going on.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And then I walk in there, it's dead quiet. No one else is awake. I'm like, oh yeah, I beat everyone to all the presents. I like over there, I see my big box. I start opening them up, you know.
Hold on. You started opening your presents without even waking up your family?
Oh, I couldn't wait.
What a piece of shit.
It was just like, Nintendo. Oh my God. I naturally had to wait on that one because, you know, there was so much other stuff around. But I got...
That's messed up, man. Like, that was step one for me. Like, right after waking up, first thing I do, go wake up mom. And then the girls, and then tell them to go wake up mom while I scope out the scene.
Hey, I changed, but that was how things were. And I got a Nintendo 64 with pod racing.
That was a cool game.
Dad helped me hook it up. I was just playing that stuff so hard.
Best character was that alien that looked like an onion.
He was damn good.
Best character. Although Shibolba was the fastest, it could shoot fire out of his sideways.
I never got Shibolba.
He was really, really, really hard to control.
I just hated playing as Anakin.
Yeah.
He was like the worst.
I remember getting my 64. It was in a... The box wasn't wrapped. It was just plain cardboard. And it wasn't like a big box. Like, how big would you reckon yours was?
It was biggish. Like, there was a lot of wasted space in there.
See, because the one I got was... Like, it looked like you probably could have fit a pie in there. Like, just a pie.
Huh.
It was maybe like that long, like that tall.
Man, if I saw some of that shit, I would immediately be like, well, I know what I didn't get. It's an N64.
It's like, oh, there's probably clothes in there. But I opened it up, and I know it was used. I mean, we didn't have a lot of money. But it was a 64, a controller, the cables and crap, and then a Glover. I don't know if you ever played Glover.
Oh, my man.
Little glove on the ball.
Yes.
But I remember opening it up, and I was like, oh my god, it's a Nintendo 64, yeah! Hook that up and play it, and, you know, Smash Bros. And Star Fox, and Mario 64.
Star Fox 64.
Ocarina of Time. But that was a pretty gnarly Christmas. I also remember getting a PlayStation 1 for Christmas. It was in a Walmart bag, also not wrapped.
Classy.
And it actually opened a game for it first, and I was like, but Mom, I don't have a PlayStation. She just kind of gives me that, you do now, son, face. I'm like, oh my god! So I'm like, it's like way behind the tree in some plastic bag. But I think the biggest one for me would be when I got my PlayStation 2. So it was like, I think it was the year my parents got divorced. And so money's really, really tight. We're trying to make things work. My mom's going to school and work full time. And I've got 3 younger sisters. And so I already talked to my mom, like, hey, I know we don't got a lot of money. Just focus on the girls, and I'll be fine. I'm like 12 years old.
Yeah,
I'm
be a man.
I'm practically an adult.
Grown up now.
So I remember getting it's like a Spider-Man stuffed, like a stuffed animal type Spider-Man, which was weird because I'm 12 years old. And I got a youth Bible. I was like, all right, this is what Christmas is for now. The girls going through all their presents, opening everything up that they got. It's all cool. And then my mom's like, oh, there's one present left behind the tree. Justin, can you reach that? I'm like, yeah. So I crawl under there and I slide it out. And there's no tag on it. I'm like, there's no name on it. She's like, oh, we'll just open it up. And so I grab the corner and rip it. And as soon as I do, it's this a deep blue box, and I see the PlayStation logo. And I'm like, oh my god. You rip it apart. Brand new PlayStation 2. Turns out she went in with my grandparents, and they split the price of it to get me one. And so I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe this. Thank you. I run to my room, set it up, and I'm just like staring at the title screen, and feeling the new DualShock with the Rumble Pack built in, and it was beautiful. It had the little PlayStation button you could turn on the front, so it would match if you had your PlayStation laying or standing up. She's like, what do you think of it? How's it play? I'm like, it's really nice. Didn't come with a game, though. And we didn't have any money. So I saved up my own money for at least a month, and got myself Jack and Daxter. Because it was $20 because it was on the greatest hits list. And it's still one of my favorite games to this day. And that was a pretty awesome Christmas. Prince of Persia, man. Oh, so good.
Yeah, it was like 2 years later. I really wanted Pokemon Stadium because Pokemon Stadium.
Yeah, that was the last I saw. That was the only one to actually fully speak. Like to narrate, like, blah, 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 sending out Bulbasaur.
Dang.
Because I know the GameCube one I played did not. It was just text.
Coliseum. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Pokemon Stadium 1, I was so excited for it, and it was so big, and it was so awesome.
Did you have the adapter on the controller?
Yes.
See, I didn't have that.
I loved it. I put my little I didn't have a Game Boy. Like, I didn't have a classic Game Boy to play it on.
You didn't have a Game Boy?
Not at first. So, but I had Pokemon Blue, and I was able to just put it in there and go at it, which was awesome.
I still got my original Game Boy around here somewhere.
I have my original Game Boy, and it was classic brick. So nice. But, probably still works. But, yeah, it was pretty great. Problem was, it kind of got spoiled for me, because before I got it, they left the strategy guide sitting on the table. Don't ask me why they got me the strategy guide. I guess they thought I was too stupid to play Pokemon Stadium.
There's not even a storyline to that, is there?
No, not really. It was like, it had all the stats and all the Pokemon just from front to back in it. So it was pretty cool, and the art was nice. But
I thought about going back and reading the Pokemon manga that started it all with Red.
Now, if you ever want to read a funny strategy guide, there was one that my brother had for Ocarina of Time. That was hilarious.
I don't think I'll ever play Ocarina of Time again. Let me tell y'all a story, ladies and gentlemen. It's called Woe Is Me, the Ode of Justin Vaquera. Because, I don't know, 4, 5 different times I'd play Ocarina of Time either on an N64 itself, the original with the weird, you must have 3 hands controller, or emulating it on my laptop. And every single time, I would get to Jabu Jabu, that big stupid whale, and you got to go in and get that princess, and I'd bring the princess to the mouth of the whale and try to leave, and she would just fall off. And it's like, oh yeah, you got to go kill something while you're there, even though it doesn't make sense for the storyline. And every single time before I could go actually do that, my save file would get corrupt. I have no idea how. Maybe there's some kind of glitch by trying to go to the mouth before killing that thing. But 4 or 5 different times on different consoles, my save file just gone.
Damn.
Then the same thing happened to me in Twilight Princess. I got all the way through that. It wasn't even very far on that one. I got through the first temple. When the forest is all covered in that purple smoke and crap.
Yes.
Got through all of that and then gone. Just no save file detected whatsoever. I've never beaten a Zelda game because of this crap. It's like a curse on me.
Link to the Past. I was in the very last temple. Had everything. Had all sorts of bonus stuff that I found stuff. Never looked up anything for the game, so I was just doing it on my own steam. And I walked into a room, and apparently this eye that kept shooting me was supposed to disappear after I blocked enough of its shots or shot it with an arrow or some shit, but it didn't, so the game glitched out. And I was like, alright, I'll just load my saves. Okay? And my last save was like forever ago because I was marathoning that shit. I was just
As you do.
Nope. Four Swords, though. Four Swords is a great game. Love that shit. Wish we could play it.
It was GBA, right?
Yeah. So good. Multiplayer Legend of Zelda.
They have a new one that's a lot like that.
I
forget what it's called, but I saw Greg and Tim over at Kinda Funny playing it. And
awesome.
It kind of borrows that same thing. You gotta have multiple people, and each one has like a slightly different ability this time around, depending on what color you are. It looked like Red has like bombs, like gloves to hold it or something like that. But I'd be down for that to see what kind of playstyle you got.
Yeah, I just liked.
It is on the DS, the 3DS. So I assume the stylus comes into play somewhere, which would help for precision. But I'd never beat a Zelda game. I got pretty far on Wind Waker once.
I think Wind Waker is one of the better Zelda games. I liked it a lot. But I think we're really getting away from best Christmases.
Oh, yeah. Topics.
Oh, yeah, direction for conversations.
Another really good Christmas was my our senior year. Christmas of 2009, because we graduated in 2010. My mom had just gotten engaged to my now stepdad, John. So we were, the combining of incomes, we were moving to a new house. And so, as far as I can remember as being a kid, I lived in a duplex in Crowley, a trailer outside Burleson for like 9 years. That's where I grew up.
That's where I came in.
That's where I met him. And then a duplex in Burleson, which is also really small. And then after this, when they got engaged, it was like this humongous 5-bedroom, 2-story house with a gigantic backyard. And my room was a converted 2-car garage. And I was pimping in there. And
Bridge in the living room.
there was a you go up the stairs, all right? It goes up and then turns. And then there's a bridge that goes like here's the door. It's just this big open entryway and a bridge that goes over to the bedrooms, and there's a balcony.
Awesome.
Because I had that bedroom later when I converted my bedroom into an entertainment center. And so we were moving into that, and I got a laptop that year because I was about to graduate. I wanted a laptop for college, and my parents got me one. And that morning we got up real early before the sun had even rose or risen. Yeah, risen. That sounds right. And it actually snowed that year. That's how I broke my hand that morning later. That's a story for I think we already talked about that one last time.
Yeah.
But we went over to that new house, and we had the tree set up there in secret for the girls, my younger sisters, to find. And we opened them all there, and we went out to eat. And it wasn't a very good laptop, but it was my first one. That was a good Christmas, too. Had a snowball fight out front.
I remember that was the same season we thought it was a great idea to bury Dr. Pepper cans in the snow.
They came out nice and cold.
They did. It was a fantastic idea.
You're talking about like it was a bad idea, like it blew up in our face. No, that was great. I miss Dr. Pepper.
I think I miss Coke more.
Really?
Yeah.
I miss both a lot, but I think Dr. Pepper has that more, like that trademark smell.
Yeah, it's
that's kind of implanted in my head. That's kind of like a trigger.
Man, we always had it around my house growing up, so it was like a comfort drink.
We should get some Virgil's sometime. It's been a while.
It has. Good way to handle. Yeah, that'd be a good way to fight your urges.
Especially after Razoo's. Guy's supposed to give me a refill of tea. Gives me Coke. It's like he wants me to relapse. So, Kaylee the cashier at Staples.
Kayla, the cashier.
Oops. Kayla the cashier at Staples. What was her topic?
Her topic was broad, and I'll say it exactly the way she said it. Hunting.
Hunting?
Indeed, hunting.
What about it?
That was how broad it was. So I guess we could go into things like the ethics, the drive behind hunting, personal hunting anecdotes, or aspirations. And realistically, it's just the world is an open door.
Well, I can tell you right now, I have been hunting. And the only thing I've ever shot was a bird while I was deer hunting.
You had one job.
It was intentional, but I regretted it immediately afterward because it was... I don't know. I wasn't really frustrated. I was maybe 10 or 11 out there with David, my dad. And after the sun got so low we couldn't really see, he's like, well, go ahead and shoot something. I was like, well, like what? So I shot a bird. Ended up burying it. I've been deer hunting a few times. Never even seen a deer. But I'll tell you a story. The last time I went deer hunting was good 3 years ago. So it's like a year after I graduated. So my second cousin, who I've always called Uncle, Larry. He's in his 50s. He's so much older than me. We just called him Uncle growing up. He owns the family farm out on the border of Louisiana. And so he was like, you're old enough now. I trust you. You and I have been shooting together enough times that I know you can go hunting on your own. You don't have to go with me anymore. I'm like, all right, sweet. So it's November. It was cold that year. So I've got, like 3 jackets on and a beanie pulled up tight. And I get up at like 5 in the morning. Sun's not going to rise for another 2 hours. And I walk out across this big pasture we've got out by this pond. You've been there a few times. Yeah. We gone shooting and stuff. And I just keep walking straight through the pasture and into the woods. Pitch black. Can't see anything. Pretty damn scary. And I've got my gun in one hand. I got a 308 Savage deer rifle. And I've got my big old hunting knife. It's around here somewhere too. On my belt. And so it's so dark. I can't see anything. I've got a flashlight tucked like under my arm because I'm holding my gun in both hands at the ready because we do have bears out there. And you can hear cougars. I've never seen one, but you can hear them. I've seen coyotes in the distance. So that early, that dark, I've got my gun ready. Flashlight's kind of bobbing up and down because it's stuck under my armpit. Finally make it through to this oak tree that grows out like this, like sideways out of the ground. And unfortunately, I didn't have a sling for my gun. So I climbed this tree like with one hand, kind of walking across it with my gun in my other hand. And I managed to shimmy my way up. It's a few feet. I'm about 6 foot, and it's a couple feet taller than I am, so probably 9-10 feet off the ground. You know, like this.
Yeah.
Hard to explain. Pythagorean theorem. So I'm sitting in this tree. I've got my gun and my knife, and it's cold. I'm all bundled up, and I got my beanie pulled down because it's too dark to shoot anyway. It'd be illegal, I'm pretty sure. Even I couldn't see through my scope anyway. So I just sleep. I take a good old nap for probably an hour up in that tree. Wake up because I hear something like down below. There's, like I said, it's November. It's fall. There's leaves everywhere. It's literally a tree farm. So I'm asleep up in this tree. Got my gun across my chest, and I hear leaves crunching like down below. So my eyes open up, but I don't move. I'm like, all right, this might be a deer. I'm already like 19 years old. It's about time I get one. And so I just stay stock still. And I hear, like... And then it walks away. And I'm like, all right, I don't know what that was, but it might come back. I'm just going to stay right where I am. And then it walks, like, I hear it off to the side, like a little further out than it was before. So it didn't walk all the way away. So I kind of peek over my shoulder, but I can't see anything. It's still pretty dark. So I just sit there, but I've got my gun like in my hands. I'm like, all right, it's almost time. And I hear more walking, and it sounds like it's walking in circles down there. Like maybe it can smell me, but it can't see me up there. So I'm just staying like perfectly still, just waiting. And then like right on my shoulder, like right here between my elbow and my shoulder, I'm laying against this tree. I feel something like breathe on me, and it's like, I'm like, what the fuck is that? I'm like 10 feet off the ground right now. And to this day, I have no idea what it was, but it left. And I was like, what? Could that have been that high up?
Not a bear.
I stayed, I don't know, 3 or 4 hours. Sun goes up. I'm sitting there just waiting for something to come by. Never does. Eventually, it's like 10, 11 in the morning, and I'm like, all right, I'm going to go eat. So I climb down and walk all the way back. My uncle was already there. He'd taken a younger cousin of mine hunting that morning, but apparently he just slept the whole time while my cousin sat up with the gun. And he's like, hey, Justin, do you see anything? I didn't hear a gunshot. Like, I didn't see anything, but I think someone saw me. And I told him about it. He's like, I'm not surprised. Like, well, what the hell was it? Like, who knows? There's all kinds of shit out in those woods. All right.
Not surprised.
Thanks, Larry.
Wow.
But to this day, I have no idea what it was. And, like, I don't really believe in, like, Bigfoot. But I will say that there's pictures. My mom has photographs, like old school, went to a Walmart, got them developed photographs of a gigantic like 2-foot long footprint that looked like a bare human footprint we found out in the woods one time out there in a different side of the house because there's several pastures, it's a farm. But
damn,
we do have those still.
Looking 10 feet off the ground, obviously a giraffe.
Them Louisiana giraffes.
Hey, probably more probable than Bigfoot.
Yeah. I mean, deer wouldn't be that tall. Bears,
on their hind legs, unless it's a fucking grizzly.
yeah, that'd still be kind of hard for them to reach. That, and for them to stand up and get up that high, like, it probably would have made a lot more noise than what I was hearing, I imagine. And while we do have cougars, they would have had to climb up the tree to get that tall.
No, you would have felt that on the branch you were on.
Yeah. Well, I was on the main stem.
Mm.
Like, the tree was slanted so much that it went up all the way and then just kind of split like this. And I was just sitting like right there with my legs around the side branch and just laying on the main one. But every once in a while when I think about going out there to hunt again, I'm like, but what was it?
Well, one way to find out, you have to shoot it.
But,
science.
I've been deer hunting out there a few times. And I went deer hunting once with Rusty and his brother and his dad. And didn't see anything. Went out there. We were there for 2 days. 3 days, 2 nights. That's it. And the very first morning, I had charcoal lined camouflage that I'd gotten as a Christmas present. But it was all messed up and the charcoal lining just came out everywhere. So I was covered in this thick black charcoal dust. Like, it looked like I'd fallen into a fire pit and just rolled around. And so I'm wearing contacts. I'm like 13. We were definitely in middle school. And so it's so cold, my contacts are drying up. And I blink and it falls out of my cheek. And I'm like, oh, shit. So I grab it, but my hands are covered in this charcoal crap. So I gotta soften it and clean it off. So I put it in my mouth, as my mom had told me was a good idea. To let your saliva clean it off. Swallow the damn thing. First morning there, swallow my contact. Everything looks like this. Because my depth perception's screwed. My vision is terrible.
Been there.
And I'm like, hey, Johnny. What? I just swallowed my contact. You what? I swallowed my contact. What the hell did you do that for? It was dirty.
It was dirty, so I swallowed it.
So I climbed down out of the deer stand and I'll march back to the campsite, and we had a little trailer there, and Rusty and Dusty, they didn't even get up to go with us. They weren't really into the whole outdoors thing. I wake them up coming back in. They're like, what happened? Did you get one? I'm like, I don't want to talk about it. I had to stay there a whole another day and a half, just not being able to see anything. It's terrible. And I went dove hunting once. I think a year ago, me and John went at my aunt's boss's property. And we shot at a lot of them, but we didn't manage to hit any of them. We had some little kids with us, my cousin's son and my little sister, and neither of them were dressed for it. They were wearing like bright colors, like bright red. Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was wearing a Superman jacket, so camouflage wasn't very good, and he kept getting up and walking around and talking and stuff. So they weren't getting down low or roosting or anything, but it was a good time. I still got a lot of shotgun shells left, so we can always go some other time.
See, I went hog hunting with a bow and didn't see anything. Even laid out bait, took some jello on the ground, stuff like that. Nothing. And then went dove hunting. Fired some shots, didn't get any. And then went rabbit hunting and shot a rabbit, wounded it, followed it across the field for a ways because I felt really bad because, I wounded an animal.
That's when you blew its legs off, right?
Yeah.
Its back legs?
And I mean, it was the first time I'd ever actually like. First time I'd shot the shotgun was literally
What kind of
8 minutes
how old were you?
earlier. I was like 12.
What kind of shotgun was it?
It was a 20 gauge. So it wasn't that big.
It's still pretty small.
Yeah, it wasn't a big shotgun. It was just that breech loader, the one that I have.
Oh, the exact same one?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, and
Like, he owns that one now, so that's neat.
and yeah,
I don't own any of the first guns I ever shot.
I'd shot it like 10 minutes earlier, and then it was time to shoot it again because I saw a rabbit, and I was like, all right, we're going to do this. Hold your breath, you know, because you're a little kid and you're afraid of that kick that's going to come up, and you brace yourself and you're set and you're going, and it's like,
what's up, Doc? Pow!
I actually said that whenever we were skinning it.
Did you really?
Yes.
That's weird.
So I shot it in the legs and it ran across this field and I felt super bad, but the rabbit trails were really easy to follow because I mean,
especially covered in guts,
blood, you know, whatever. Either way, you try to run without legs or with broken legs, and it's you know, ran off still really fast though, really impressive. I couldn't have done that with broken legs.
Imagine that.
But we find it in another thicket, and I fire and miss, and then my dad killed it, just one shot right there, just blew right at the very back of the neck like a titan.
He's using a shotgun too?
Yeah, only he used a 20 or 12. Yeah, he used 12. And pulled it out, and we started getting ready to skin it, and we did skin it, got the skin off and all that stuff, which was an educational experience, and it was completely filled with worms. Which would explain why stupid little me was able to shoot it in the first place.
I remember you telling me that.
Yeah. But, yeah, I did say, what's up, Doc, whenever we were skinning it for the first time. I was like, well, what's up, Doc? Because I felt kind of queasy, but I wanted to be tough.
Well, I guess I think like 12-year-old Huey.
There we go. Mind of a child. But yeah, so we've got hunting anecdotes. I guess we discussed the ethics of hunting in this broad subject.
All right. Obviously, I agree with it. I like hunting. I don't get to do it as often as I'd like because it's a 4-hour drive to go out there to the tree farm. And of course, you know, my uncle lives there now, so I always try to get permission from him whenever we do go down there. And then we also get permission to make sure that it's okay to shoot, you know, if he's got other people down there, because I have over 200 cousins, a lot of whom are little kids. It's good for population control. It's good for minimizing damage, like pigs.
Oh, yeah.
I think it was this last year and the year before, it was supposed to be real bad with all the stuff they were tearing up. And I think they actually removed the limit for a number you could kill in this state and a couple others.
Dang. Yeah,
I went over a lot of this in an ag class junior year. It served to also replace the hunter's education course you have to take to hunt alone. But I was 16 and you had to be 17 to take that final exam to make it count as your official state hunter's course.
and it didn't happen for you.
So I wasn't able to. I was too young. Born in August, babies of our grade. And so I knew all the same stuff. It didn't get to be official. I've actually yet to take the Hunter's Ed course because there was always someone else in the same vicinity when I was hunting. I should probably do that though. That way we can go hunting like legit on our own.
Yeah, I'd like to go hunting again.
I've still got my 308. And I've got a 12 gauge right over there. So dove, deer, pig.
I think trophy
bear.
hunting is unethical though.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of killing something just for the sake of killing it. That's why I felt bad about the bird. It was right after that. Like even with spiders, I try not to kill spiders unless I have to. Like if they're in a car and there's no way for me to possibly get it out safely. Up at work, I used to work in a high school, and I released outside probably 50 spiders over the course of the 3 years I was there, because I hate mosquitoes more than I hate any spider.
Dang.
Fuck mosquitoes. And I definitely think if you're gonna go hunt something, or in general, if you're gonna kill it and it's not out of self-defense, then it should be to eat it.
Yeah, I agree. And there's a lot of people that say, why would you want to go kill an animal when you can just like buy it off the shelves? It's unnecessary. And like, every time I've ever heard that, I've just wanted to like stifle a laugh. And I'm like, well, that stuff you got off the shelf came from an animal.
And I know where this one has been, and I know how it died.
Yeah, I mean, it was
I
never
know
in a factory.
I know how the
floor.
meat was treated afterwards.
It was free range. It lived a reasonably full life because no one goes out. Well, I personally have never had the desire to go shoot baby animals. And yeah, it was a clean kill usually if you're the one doing it, or if you're 12-year-old me.
Yeah, I had a lot of opportunities to go deer hunt more than I did, but I didn't get to shoot through a scope a whole lot. Because until I got my 308 after graduation, the only guns that I owned was like, I had a Red Ryder BB gun, I had this really big, heavy single shot pellet gun, and I have a Marlin 22 that I still have. That's the gun I've had the longest and one I've shot the most. And none of them have scopes. So I didn't have a whole lot of practice actually looking down a scope and having, learning how to line it up and make sure there's no black around the edges and you're looking through it straight.
Yeah.
And knowing how close it's going to get to your face when you actually fire it. Because you were there, I had a 308 touch me. It touched my eyebrow. I'm lucky it didn't bust my face open. And my vision, I've had glasses since I was 6. And every single year since then, I'm 23 now, my vision's got worse and worse and worse. And so all that just combined, it made me really anxious about actually shooting something. So there was several times my uncle or friend's dad, whoever, would be like, hey, you want to go hunt with us this year? And then I said, no, I don't want to shoot something. And like, I was confident enough that I would hit it, but I wanted to make sure I would kill it in one.
Yeah.
I didn't want it to take off and then, suffer and bleed out on its own, or have to go chase it down and try to give it a second shot. So I definitely think you should always go for a clean kill rather than just doing whatever you can to use up all your tags.
Yeah.
That's ripping apart tags.
I'm going to pop some tags. Only got 50 bullets in my pocket. Yeah.
Terrible.
What a shame. No.
Let's see.
So, we discussed the ethics of hunting. Do you have any personal hunting aspirations you'd like to share?
Well, as always, I'd like to eventually get a deer. I've always planned to skin it myself. Possibly keep the horns. No, I don't want to mount the head or anything, but I would like to get the horns and then sand them down, drill a hole through both sides, and then put a leather band through them so you can use them during the rut. I think it's in October when the rut's really going on. You can click them together to imitate the sound of bucks fighting over a doe.
So then other bucks show up?
Mm-hmm. I like to do that. It used to be on my bucket list to go bear hunting. But then, the older I got, the more I thought about killing something. It's like, that'd be a nice experience, but I don't want to eat a bear.
I would be so down for eating a bear.
Like, I'm not saying I would... If I went to Cabela's again, I had a buffalo burger once there. It was really good. If they were like, hey, want to try some bear? I'd be like, sure. But I don't want to go kill a bear and have, 200 pounds of bear meat.
Yeah, you definitely need to have a freezer for that. Or 2.
But I'd like to get a deer, because I've yet to get a single one. I'd like to go dove hunting again. I've got a 12 gauge Remington 870 Wingmaster, I believe it's called. And it's got a really long barrel with a tight choke, so it's pretty much made for dove hunting. It's called the Wingmaster.
It makes sense. Sounds like something that's good for...
And my stepdad, John, he grew up out in Kennedy or Bernie. I think Bernie, Texas. I think it's out by San Antonio somewhere. He grew up over there hunting all the time. And I saw him shoot 2 dove with 1 pull the trigger a while back. So he knows all kinds of ways to prepare dove meat like with bacon and stuffing it and stuff, and
Yeah.
the best way to cut it up to get it all. So I'd really like to go dove hunting again, and then try out some of his recipes that he's got and had forever.
Yeah, I think the best part of hunting is actually like the idea of taking an animal from animal to hamburger.
I've had venison from deer. Some family of mine have shot, and it's always been really good. Venison chili is the only chili I will eat because every other kind of chili doesn't like me.
See, I've had venison burgers and dove and quail and never had squirrel. Want it so bad. And of course, I had elk and buffalo at Cabela's. And also mule deer.
Eventually, it'd be cool to go hunt. Something you're still gonna eat, but something bigger than a deer.
Yeah. Like a elk.
Yeah.
Or a moose.
I was thinking moose, but at the same time, I wasn't sure if they were on an endangered list or anything like that.
Well, even then, if it's on an endangered list, that means you just have to go on a waiting list and donate more money to the conservation of the moose than... That's how you do bighorn sheep.
I guess.
Ultimately, you give so much money to be able to hunt a bighorn sheep that your money is able to help preserve the environment, so you've reproduced an enormous amount of bighorn sheep.
What do you think about that? I think it was a dentist that shot that lion.
Oh.
That was all over the media.
Well, let's see. I'm trying to remember all the details on it. Dentist goes, poaches a lion, and I know lion meat is for sale just in one state over from us in Arizona. But I guess whatever lion he poached was an endangered species, so they made a big huff about it. And I definitely think it was asinine on his part. I'm definitely pro-conservation as it stands. Yeah, I really don't know how I could expand upon it without knowing a whole lot of details, but I definitely don't think he should have done it.
Yeah, I'm not down for poaching. We had some people running dogs on the farm property 7 or 8 years ago. And my uncle had to go, call the game warden and have a whole big confrontation over that. And it goes back to the whole, trophy hunting thing. I really doubt he ate any of that lion.
Yeah, although, they had that lion burger over in Arizona, and apparently it's good.
But I would almost guarantee that guy did not. I would bet money he did it just for the glory of having killed, some big, giant hunter of its own. Compensating?
Yeah.
Compensating?
And there goes our viewership.
All three of them, they're all gone now.
God damn it. Come back, Brittany. No. But, yeah.
That's pretty much it, I think.
Yeah.
Hunting, broad subject, but then unless we've gone and done more than what we have, we really don't have a whole lot of direct input to put into it.
Yeah. So
definitely need to go shooting more, get our aim back up. I finally got not these are old, but I've got some contacts now that are up to date. I had old contacts for the last 4 years that were blurry. So now that I've got those and I can actually see better than 2020, I'd like to go see what I can do.
That's nice. Yeah, I want to get some new contacts. Just to run with it.
Visual acuity.
Gotta love it. That and this is just covered in scratches and shit. And I feel like that's just fucking me up on everything.
These glasses are 6 years old. You think you got scratches?
Yeah, I'm rougher on my things than you are.
All right. Let's compare these here.
All right. How do you feel?
Well, I can't. I can barely see that those are glasses.
Yeah, I can. Mine have more scratches than yours.
Let me see. You have a lot bigger lenses.
True.
A lot more surface area.
Yeah, some of that just looks like a
Is
dirty
it raining
splotch.
out that side?
Sounds like it.
I left my hammock out there. I think mine are scratched more than yours, but yours are dirty.
No, it's just the
yours
scratches
yours
look
are like
dirty.
really smudged around the sides.
Yeah. Either way,
Hunting.
so important. All right. Well, I feel like we covered all our bases.
I think that's pretty much it, guys, for episode 3 of the talk show here at Awkward Academy. As always, we're always looking for a third or fourth, whenever TJ actually shows up, topic for the show. So if you have any ideas, try to keep it funny or thought-provoking, just something we can really run away with. Leave it in the comments. Like, subscribe. We'll hopefully be doing more of these. We got to get a hold of TJ, and if not, we'll reformat the show to make it run smoother with just 2 people.
Maybe bring in some puppets.
I don't like puppets. But as always, we are Awkward Academy. I am Justin. That is Hooley. You are you. And you should come to the Awkward Academy with Justin and Hooley. Farewell.
And now an awkward silence.